You're not alone. These are real life stories that happen to real life people. Whether it's you, your friends, your family, your coworkers, or your neighbors, life happens. And there are mortgage lenders all throughout the country who are there to help. They are there to lend a hand, to give advice, and help navigate the things that we don't talk about openly. Well, that changes now. We're going to share with you real life examples. What happens behind closed doors. We are going to talk mortgage with you. So I'm with Dave Hochberg today. Dave Hochberg, Chicago, Illinois. He is a voice of WGN Home Sweet Home Chicago. He is a 25-year lending professional. And Dave, I want to get intimate and personal, not so much with you, but so much with your stories, your clients, about your borrowers, your clients, your customers, that you and your team are finding a way to yes, and helping them navigate what could be scary but shouldn't be scary. And before we turned on the cameras today, you're telling me about a 90-year-old lady, I think her name was Alice.
Alice, yeah.
Who was dealing with the death of her husband. Walk us through that scenario.
So you have a 90-year-old lady. She was married to Joe, her husband, for over 70 years.
Wow.
Okay. Lived in the same home for over 60 years. They both outlived their assets. Their kids were supporting them. They lived in a $450,000 home. Paid off. And the kids are each stroking mom and dad a G-note a month. 3 kids, $3,000. The kids couldn't afford it, but the kids aren't going to say no to their mom.
No.
So Alice is a widow now. Her husband, Joe, took care of all the finance. Alice is freaking out because she's outlived her assets. They've completely depleted everything, but she's sitting on a $450,000 to $500,000 asset. Her daughter heard me on the radio, listened to my show, and I love reverse mortgages. Absolutely love them. It's the most valuable loan next to a VA loan out there that we could offer.
That makes helps. 2 of us, by the way.
Yes. I love the VA loan because I love our veterans, and there's so many different benefits to VA loans that people are afraid of because they don't know about them. But reverse mortgages are the most misunderstood loan in our industry, and it's the most valuable loan, especially for experienced homeowners like Alice, who has now become a widow.
Yep.
Okay, so her kids she's freaking out. She thinks she's got to sell the house. She can't pay for anything. So her daughter calls me, says, hey, my mom, explain the situation. I'm like, okay, we're good. She's like, what do you mean we're good? I'm like, we could access over $250,000 worth of your mom's equity with a reverse mortgage. So ran through the scenario with the 3 kids. Sat down on the phone, not sat down, but went over it with mom on the phone. Then we got everybody on a Zoom call and explained everything. It's a long process because it's not a 30-year fixed loan where everybody knows what it is. It's a complex loan that you have to walk people through.
At the end of the day, Alice owns this home. It's worth $450,000.
Yep.
Your mortgage company are going to lend her $250,000 of the $450,000 value.
That she doesn't have to pay back if she doesn't want to.
She'll never have to make a payment.
Correct.
But that $250,000 is her money to now live off of, which means the children no longer have to stroke that G-note every single month.
That they can't afford.
Right. And if I do my math correctly, $250,000 divided by 3,000 is roughly about 84 months, almost 7 years.
Right.
7 years for a 90-year-old widow.
That you've got a really good chance that the money is going to last through the end of her lifetime.
Yes.
Okay, so long story short, we were able to get Alice a reverse mortgage. Took the pressure off of Alice because Alice did not want to leave the home that she lived in with her husband and raised her kids in for the past 60 years. And we were able to get them the money to help fund in-home support for Alice. Okay, Chicago, we get snow. In the winter, it's icy. You don't want Alice going to get the mail at the end of the driveway and falling and breaking bones. You don't want Alice out there pushing a lawnmower when it's 95 and 115 with the heat index, right? So Alice now has enough funds to support herself inside the house All she has to pay for are the taxes and the insurance and keep up the house. Huge relief. Alice stayed in the home. We solved a huge challenge that the kids didn't know how to solve, because why would they?
No.
Right? This is what we do for a living. Okay, 90-year-old widow, $450,000, $500,000 home, no mortgage on it, boom. Another scenario, I'll give you another scenario. 87-year-old widow, okay, calls me after her husband passed away. Her kids listen to my show. Mom has a $175,000 mortgage on a $600,000-$700,000 home up in Deerfield. Okay, very highly desirable area here in Chicago, northern suburbs. Okay, Dad just passed away. Mortgage was costing Mom, I think, like $1,900, so say 2 G's a month. Okay, ran out of money again, outlived their assets. Kids were pitching in. Taxes on the home were $9-10 grand. Okay, they had a senior freeze, whatever it was, and Mom didn't want to leave. Okay, took out a reverse mortgage, got them access to money. Most importantly, in that situation, we eliminated the mortgage that was on the house and that $2,000 a month payment.
That's huge.
It was a game changer.
That is what I call the sleep good at night factor.
100%.
There's no price you can put on sleeping good at night. Let me ask you this question. Are you then going as far as connecting them with one of your financial advisors? Like, is it advisable for Alice to take her $250,000 and put it into an annuity? I mean, I know that's not the type of advice that most mortgage loan originators are giving, but do you take it that far, or is it one of those, we're going to get you the money and the kids and Alice can decide how they want to store that money, whether it's in a savings account or into some kind of an interest-bearing annuity or
That's a great question.
ETF.
It's a great question. With Alice, we had enough money during the first year to pay off the existing mortgage, and she was able to take out a little bit during the first 365 days. I don't give financial advice because I'm not a certified financial planner.
Yeah.
So I steer clear. Personally, I tell my team, steer clear. If they want an introduction to a financial planner to have those conversations, they would have to ask me to make an introduction. I'm not openly soliciting because I don't want to cross that church and state line. I just want to be there to solve the mortgage problem and the challenge that the family was having, which was eliminating a $2,000 a month outlay every single month, in addition to the 8 to 10, whatever the taxes were. The taxes here in Illinois are ridiculous. And then the $2,400 or $2,000, $2,400 a year for the insurance. Wound up, this was a couple of years ago. She slipped in the stairs, had a medical challenge that they had to, it was, the kids didn't want her to stay there, but she wasn't leaving after her husband died. Same situation as Alice. She was living in the house for 50 years. You're taking me out in a box. All right, well, they actually took her out in a stretcher because she cracked her hip. Oh. And then the kids are like, Mom, we're done, right? You got stairs with split level house. We're out of here. Thank God she's in an assisted living facility where she's getting the care that she needs. Sold the house, paid off the reverse mortgage, done.
Still had money left over.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, a ton of equity left over to provide for the assisted living and everything else. Is she still living, God willing?
Because that's probably the biggest misconception people have on reverse mortgages.
It's the biggest misconception.
Is they think, oh, once I do a reverse mortgage, then I'm signing over my house to the bank. No, like you have a loan and your loan balance may increase every single year. Hopefully your home's appreciating at the same time every single year, but there's still equity in the home. So when you're ready to sell the home, whether it's an estate sale or whether it's someone moving into assisted living, there's still a chunk of change that should be, in most cases, expected to be handed over to the rightful owner, which in this case, it'd be Alice or it'd be the other lady that you helped.
She had a $175,000 mortgage on the home that we paid off. So my question to her was, who owns the house? She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you got a $175,000 mortgage against your $600,000-$700,000 house. Who owns the house? Do you own the house or does the bank own the house? She's like, I own the house. I'm like, okay, so there's a bank that's got a investment vehicle there that lent you money to finance the house.
That's costing you $1,900 a month that you can't really
almost
afford.
$1,900, $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
They go, I am going to replace your existing $175,000 mortgage with a new vehicle that's worth greater the availability than the 175 that you could gain access to every single month. And you don't have to make the payment if you elect not to. And the money that you take out is tax-free. And you only have to pay the taxes and the insurance. The 2 times a year the taxes come due. In Deerfield, it's June and August. And the annual insurance payment, whenever your insurance bill is due. You still have a mortgage. I'm replacing your current mortgage with a reverse mortgage. Yeah. You still own the house. It's just another mortgage that you don't have to pay. That's why they call it a reverse. It grows. You're in a forward mortgage. I'm replacing it with a reverse, but you still own the house. And they're like, why didn't anybody explain that to me?
I think the term reverse mortgage is confusing. I love
100%.
calling it a senior advantage home loan.
That's a great name.
Senior advantage home loan. So let me invite you all. If you know of an Alice, maybe Alice reminds you of your aunt or your mom or your next door neighbor, and you want to inquire whether or not a senior advantage home loan, aka reverse mortgage, would make sense for you or someone you know, click the link down in the description for a free consultation with Dave Hochberg or a member of his team.